Okay, we're live, and today's live stream is sponsored by, what have we got here? Innocent Power to the Purple. Water in an empty fruit juice bottle. That's what I came up with today when I couldn't find a bottle. So guys, as you can see from the title, this live stream is going to be about graphics cards. It's going to be about GPUs. I know we might touch upon some other things. That always happens during a live stream. That's what happens. But I'd like to try and focus most of the discussion on graphics cards, specifically about finding a graphics cards. I know that we're going to be doing, there will be some discussions about, whether you get a 3060 Ti, 3070, 3080, 3090, or even an AMD world, a 6800, 6900 XT. We can discuss all that and kind of, review all that. But the main thing I want to focus on is actually finding a graphics card, because the biggest thing, the biggest problem that people are going to face, certainly over the next 6 months, is actually finding stock. So I'm going to talk about that in this live stream. Hi, Sam. Hi, Noah. Noah. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. So yeah, I'd like to focus more on graphics cards. There are other videos I'm going to be doing. In fact, I have got a massive backlog of videos. Like, I've probably got like 10 products to unbox at this point. It's getting out of hand. But today I'd like to steer the conversation towards GPUs, if I can. So, yeah, so good to see you guys. Good for you to drop by. So I want to talk about graphics cards. I want to talk about the difficulty of actually buying a graphics card today, 2021. It is quite difficult. It's very difficult, actually. But this is something I've been following quite a lot over the last few weeks, because it's the missing piece of the puzzle for me. Kind of. I could go the direction of not buying a graphics card. I could use my old 1080 Ti, but I do need to kind of upgrade. I do need to pick up a 3080 or 3090. And 3090, price-wise, is the one that gives you a sore bottom after you buy it. So, yes, what I'd like to do is talk about graphics cards. Hey, Peter. It's good to see you got a notification this time. So before we get going and talk about actually finding stock, I just want to talk about the actual issue which is going on. So there is a little bit of a shortage in computing components in a number of different areas. I've seen it in PC cases. I've seen it with power supplies as well. Graphics card is probably the biggest problem right now, though, where you can go in to any computing shop and you can look on their website online, and you can scroll down and keep scrolling down, and you'll go from the $2,000, £2,000 graphics cards, and you won't see any in stock until you see the graphics cards which are arguably less powerful than your iPad or your phone. It really is that bad. So that's the problem that we're in, and it's because of a lot of reasons, because of the pandemic, because of Brexit here in the UK. But certainly cryptocurrency mining is playing a part, and certainly Nvidia and AMD have to take some of the blame because of, well, they know what's going on here. They do this every time. They don't create enough stock and they drip feed their releases. They've got a bad track record with it. And we saw this 3 years ago as well, when cryptocurrency was quite high and Bitcoin went over 20 grand. There's a lot of parallels to be drawn between now and 3 years ago. And we saw a lot of hypocrisy. Certainly here in the UK, you saw a lot of computing companies where they would start saying, we stand with gamers, we support gamers, we don't believe in what's going on with the miners, etc. And then companies like, Scan and Novatech and all this, they were charging a few £100 over the recommended retail price. They didn't have any pre-order system. They just sold as much stock to everyone. So I'm not blaming miners for any of that. I have did it myself in the past. It's more about the way that, the whole system is set up. So I want to show you this, right? So this came out a few days ago, and there's been a lot of, there's a lot of graphics cards news because there is, it is kind of a hot topic right now. So this is something that came out a few days ago. This is arguably one of the best websites to read about graphics cards news. Video Cards with a Z, and it's just all about graphics cards, as the name suggests. So this news story a few days ago, you can see here, Asus have officially confirmed increasing pricing for its graphics cards and motherboards. Now, the big question mark I've got over this news story at this point is this only going to affect people in North America? But you can see it's officially announced it will be increasing pricing for its graphics cards and motherboards effective immediately. The pricing has been adjusted due to the increased cost of components, logistics, and operations. So if you go down here and get to the meat of it all, it says the new pricing has already been reflected in retailers' listings. A significant increase can, for instance, be seen on Newegg, with the pricing for a water-cooled Radeon RX 6800 XT ROG Strix LC. They come up with these names. It's jumped from $900 to $1,080. Now, that's not the price of the GPU in all websites. That's just the price jump on that particular website. In other websites, you might see a jump of $300, $400. Who knows? Because you've got scalpers and there's a shortage. And yeah, we'll see what's happening. High time to unbox. Well, I was planning on doing a live stream about the Samsung S21, but there isn't an official announcement until January the 14th. So I wanted to hold back on doing a video about that. But it is something I do want to talk about soon. It could be one of the phones I buy early this year. Hi, Stephen. My God. So Steve, this is a good example of it. Stephen sold a 2060 recently, and he basically had it for a year and he lost nothing. And this is what happens when Bitcoin is high and people are making a lot through mining Ethereum and different coins. But to go back to this issue, Asus have raised prices, and they've raised the prices of all the products, right? I haven't seen anything official as yet that's saying that other companies will follow suit. But I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe they've just been the first one to jump and do this. I don't know what's going on. This could be partially due to the whole USA-China trade war. It could be. It could be, all electronics going up. They've perhaps got a margin. They perhaps have got a margin of... I don't know what the margins are with the graphics cards, because maybe they spend a lot of money on development, but really Nvidia's doing the development. I don't know. But say they've got a margin of 20%, 30%. I don't know. I really don't know, if I'm honest. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing at this point. It could be 10%. It could be anything. But if those margins are being eroded, maybe that's why they're going to push the cards up. A big part of it could just be because they know that the cards are selling and there's a shortage, and they know that people will pay for it. And that's why they're going to push prices up. So I don't know. I really don't know at this point. It's kind of a guesstimate. Hey, Toasted. Good to see you. So this is something I kind of put in the back burner. I nearly said back burner. I nearly put this in the back burner at first, and maybe in hindsight that was a bad move, because what I was thinking was, well, I do have a 1080 Ti. I do have a graphics card, which at this point is 3 years old. Still does okay, but I thought, right, I'll pick up the rest of the components. But now that I've got most of the other components, I've pretty much got everything that I need to get going. I'm waiting for 2 items to come, to get delivered, etc. But once those are there, I can build my PC, which is such a pain in the ass this time. This is the worst time to build a PC. It really is. And it's kind of taken the joy out of building a PC a little bit as well, if I'm honest. Well, the thing is, Toasted, I would always recommend someone building it if they're remotely tech savvy, because it's not as hard as people make out. But it's going to be difficult to actually buy a PC as well at this point. Certainly at the middle to higher end, a lot of the PC companies, you take examples in the UK, like Cyberpower Systems and PC Specialist, etc. Those companies, they're struggling to get parts as well. And I don't know how the logistics of their kind of route of parts go. But I suspect if there's a certain number of parts to go around all the different companies, then I suspect they'll go to bigger companies like Currys and Scan first before they go to those smaller PC making companies. Toasty, the spec is AMD Ryzen 5 3600. Well, that's an older chip. 16 gigabyte of RAM, 3200, 480 gig SSD, 1 terabyte HDD. Could maybe try and boost it up to a SATA if you could. Try and get a SATA SSD if you could, I would say. 240mm EIO liquid cooler. Yeah, that looks. I mean, it's obviously it's a kind of lower end build as far as the 3600 goes. You could maybe try, if you can, try and go up to something like the 5600. But all of this is price dependent. My mate bought a full system just to get a 3080. Think he's been drinking. Yeah. Hey Ed, good to see you, mate. Leeds are doing well this year, mate. Wait, thanks for the heads up, Cecil Chan. Whereabouts did it drop? Trying to stay under 1,000. What I would also recommend, Toasted, is certain parts you could buy secondhand as well. Scan. Right, let's go and check this out. I do appreciate the heads up with that, because I could be opening up my wallet to actually spend some money today. I was checking the Scan website earlier and I really didn't find anything. I must have missed it. So, which card was it, by the way? Founders Edition, what? Was that 3070? Ah, right. That's why I've missed it. Right, because I'm looking at 3090s and 3080s. It's out of stock right now. Oh, right, okay. Right, okay, sorry. I should have checked the comments when I was jumping over at the browser. But yeah, I'll just kind of click here. It'll give us a better idea of what's going on here. So this is the 30 series cards which they've got. And you'll see that if you sort by stock, which they allow you to do, nothing. Fair play to Scan. They did have a couple in stock the last few days. They had one 3090, but it's that Zodac one, which always comes up on Amazon. The best place I would say in the UK to get a GPU would be Currys, because Currys seem to be selling all of their cards at a recommended retail price. Now, in order to actually get stock, you need to look at a Stock Informer website. So I'll jump to Discord just now. I'm going to stick with that I've got, because my friend is almost the same PC and upgrading my specs, and he gets about 150 FPS in most games. That's good. No, I mean, £1,000 is still a lot of money. It really is. Yeah, that's what I was going to show you now, Cecil. So if I jump to here, yay, it works. Right, so this is Discord. Now, the main ones that I've been using are Stock Informer, Stock Drops. Now, these are two ones which I literally joined just through a Google search about, you're talking about an hour ago or something. I've not even checked them yet to see how good they are. Now, there's two reasons to join these kind of Discords. The first reason, and probably the primary reason all of you are going to join the Discord like that about stock, is because you need a graphics card, a CPU, or perhaps the new Xbox, the new PlayStation. And what you'll see is these Discords will do instant notifications where they've set up a bot where, look, you click on that and then it'll pop up and it'll be a link and it'll go to Currys or Novatech or Scan or whatever. The second reason to go into this to go into these Discords is to have a discussion, because there's thousands, tens of thousands of people, probably more, who are in the same boat and they're all trying to find a GPU. And you'll find a lot of people dropping hints. Check out this website. The stock drops at 2 a.m. The stock drops then. You're allowed to pre-order them now. It's not showing the website, but you can. You'll find lots of different tips like that. So it is worth doing. If you want, I can give you my own. No, go into the personal invite if you want me to check. Part Alert's best one. That's actually one of the ones I checked today. Part Alert, that's the one I checked today. I need to set it up properly. What I liked about this though is I quickly checked it and it seemed like, it was a good discussion and everyone seems quite polite and stuff. Sorry guys, I'm in the wrong window there. Yeah, this is part alert, this one here. I only joined it today, but it seems quite good. Have you any recommendations for a cheaper monitor that can run at least 120 frames per second? Yeah, I'm actually using this. I've got a Gigabyte Aorus monitor, one of those flashy ones with the flashing lights that don't do anything. But this one's 144 hertz. I've been quite happy with it. I mean, really, just check the reviews. Monitors are quite funny because you'll find that if you look deep into the reviews and you look at a lot of review websites, it really comes down to the panel that they're using, and there's variations of different models as well. I've seen big companies as well where they've got a model that's 120 hertz, and then they re-release it as 144 hertz, and they fix some bugs. So it always comes down to the model number. It comes down to pricing as well. I'm always happy to accept a few sacrifices, a little bit of drop in something if the price reflects that. Check Founders Edition channel and part alert. Thanks, Cecil. Founders Edition. Sorry, I'm going to the wrong window again. I keep going to the wrong window. Founders Edition. Whereabouts is that? Sorry. Founders Edition channel and part alerts. I see. I've not signed up for this yet. I've not actually went through and sorted all the channels and clicked to get notifications yet. Thanks, Cecil. Yeah, I can talk about it later, Cecil, if you want. Just send me a message on Twitter or something. Right, I'm definitely missing messages here. I'll scroll back up. Right, Leeds are doing well. Yeah, Leeds are doing very well, actually. I like your manager. He's quite quirky. And he doesn't take any crap. I always find it funny when who was it? Was it Derby or Nottingham Forest that it was sneaking about in and spying on? I quite liked him after that. Right. Right. Catching up. Hi, Oni. Sorry I missed your comment. What would you say? Wait for a RTX 1050 Ti or go for the RTX 3060 Ti? Well, an RTX 1050 Ti is very old at this point. I mean, it's like, what, 3 years old? Maybe even 4 at this point. I mean, we're kind of at the point now where it's out of date as soon as you even, use it. But it depends what you're doing. Everyone's use case is different. But certainly I would gear towards something a little bit newer. No problem, Toasted. Enjoy your carrot cake. 3050 Ti, right, okay. On Discord, I think I've got it set up that people can't message me on Discord unless they've added me as a friend. So you add me as a friend. Just because I used to get a lot of spam through it. Right. Just to go back to Discord for a second. What I'll say is, this part alert one does look good. If you want, I can post. Does everyone want an invite to these Discords? Would that be good for you to see, how it works? What I would say is the ones that I've joined. This one's Stock Informer UK. I don't know if there's a Stock Informer USA. I apologize. I don't know. But from a UK perspective, this has been the best one for me for finding stock. There's no discussions. There's no, chat. But this is the best one. It always seems to get updates very quickly for Curry's, Novatech, and Scan, and a few others. This, I'll get the invite. Where's the invite? Invite people. Right, so, let me see. Copy. Go back. Right, so there's one, Stock Informer, best for notifications, I would say. Right, I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to do is Stock Drops, and I would say this is the best for this discussion. It's very active. It can be a little bit crazy at times. People just posting images, etc. But there's a big There's a big community there. So this is the last one I'll recommend, because I don't think the other one's that active. Stock Radar, I don't think it is. So the last one is Part Alert. So there's the other one. So there's a few Discords for you guys to check out. If you're looking to get a graphics card, or even if you're looking to sell your graphics card, or you just want to find out more about it. So to go back to Oni's question, and I'll open this out to everyone as well. Oni was saying, would you want an RTX 3050 Ti or go for the RTX 3060 Ti with a Ryzen 5 2600? Can you expand upon what you're asking? Like, are you saying you'd drop down the CPU to get a better GPU? Is that what you're saying? Steven's saying VRAM will be king when it comes to graphics cards if you don't upgrade every year. Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. The reason I'm kind of hesitating at this point is because I'm kind of in between video editors at the moment. And my requirements are changing because of that. But unfortunately, I'm in this strange limbo right now with DaVinci Resolve, where I won't know exactly my requirements until I get the upgrade. So, but yes, you're right. VRAM is probably one of the most important things, especially from a 4K recording point of view. It definitely seems to be, the biggest thing. And that's one of the biggest things between the 3080 and 3090. If you're gaming, you're going to notice 10 FPS, 15 FPS if you overclock of a difference. It's not massive. It's not worth it. You're paying twice the price. I can kind of justify buying a 3090 to myself, kind of, because of the VRAM being increased from 10 to 24 gigabytes. But again, I'm kind of lying to myself, really, because it will shave off time with video editing. It will, for rendering the video. It's just hard to put a financial... I mean, is it worth it? Is it, try to put financial value onto it? Like for me, for example, it could be the difference between a video rendering and completing. I've recorded the video, edited the video, and need to render it into one big video. We put everything together. Is it worth me to reduce that time? Now, if I go from something, that's an hour down to 10 minutes, that's significant. And me coming from if I'm coming from a 1080 Ti like I am just now, then I'm upgrading the CPU, and then I upgrade to a 3080 or 3090, I'm going to see a reduction, and maybe videos that took 30 minutes or an hour might be 5 to 10 minutes now. But the difference between a 3080 and a 3090, even with that additional VRAM, I mean, what's it going to be? It's going to be 30 minutes down to 27 minutes. So I kind of can lie to myself and justify it kind of over time. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Stephen? Do you think it's worth upgrading? It's difficult though, because I think it's easy to kind of lie to yourself sometimes, and it's easy to get caught in the whole marketing thing, and it's easy to think that you need something, and in order to future-proof yourself, if you ever try to future-proof yourself and you buy the most expensive thing, a lot of the time you're paying through the nose to actually do that. Whereas if you find the sweet spot between value, performance, etc. Well, the thing is, so Stephen's saying wait for the 3080 Ti, and the problem I have with that, Stephen, is that if we've discovered anything over the last few years, and certainly the last few months with Nvidia and AMD, is that when they release a new card, they market a really low retail price, but it kind of is irrelevant almost, because the third-party cards come out, and those third-party cards are like 300, 400 more expensive. It's like them saying a 6800 is only £600, or a 3080 is only 600 retail, but you can't buy it at that price. You have to pay more for a third-party card. And I think it's going to be the same story with the 3080 Ti, where Nvidia will have it on their website and all the bots will get it, or, there's just too many people wanting it and not enough stock to go around. This wasn't an issue before. If you go back a few years with, if you go back a couple of years with Founders Edition cards. They were always available. They were always available because they were the worst. They had the worst coolers. They were noisy. They had the worst acoustics. And then if you waited a few months, you did pay more, but the third-party cards were better for cooling, for overclocking, for noise, for everything. They were just better cards. But Nvidia did the opposite this time, and I guess they've kind of screwed, third-party companies a little bit by making their own products so good. Where the Founders Edition is actually better than some third-party cards. The last Doom burst to 8GB VRAM. Wow, that's pretty big. Well, I think I've got 11GB in my 1080 Ti, which is still quite a lot when you think about it. It's still higher than what you get in a 3080. But I do need to start building my PC. Actually, I need to start building my PC. And what I thought, I do want to just do a video for each one when I start building it and just kind of document the process a little bit. I'm still waiting. At this point, I'm still waiting for an SSD from France. I've got the fastest one possible by the looks of it. And I'm waiting for an all-in-one cooler because the Arctic cooler had to get returned. But I've still got some other things as well. I don't want to kind of alienate a lot of my audience as well. I do still want to talk about smartphones, etc. The only thing that's really going on right now in the smartphone world is, the Xiaomi Mi 11 and stuff is coming out. We've got the Samsung S20, what are they calling it? S21 coming out. But the official release is not for like 8 days. But because I'm buying a computer and building a computer, it's what I'm thinking about and what I'm researching every day. Did you get a new AIO? Yeah, I'll find this for you. I don't know if this is the right one or not, but I'll tell you my thinking. So for those of you who are watching and don't know what happened, I ordered the Arctic Freezer 420 AIO, which is 3 140mm fans. Massive, humongous, but it arrived and the box was damaged. The box was opened as well, and the parts were kind of scraped and stuff. So it kind of put me off it a lot. And the fact that my friends, he got his parts missing and all that. And the other kind of hesitation I had with that was that it only comes with a 2-year warranty. And they've taken over a week to reply to my friend about his screws. They still haven't replied. They still haven't resolved the situation. Most other computing companies give you a 5-year warranty. So that was kind of a negative. So to answer your question, Stephen, I kind of narrowed it down to the EK 360 and the 360 from Lee. Now, the decision for me as to which one to get was fairly easy because the Arctic Freezer obviously had problems with that. The EK and the EK Elite look fantastic. They've got really good reviews, and I think they look quite good as well. But they're out of stock. I couldn't find them in stock anywhere, so I've opted for this one. I've opted for the white version, the Lee Galahad 360. So it's 3 120 fans. It's got a Lee logo here, which can be taken off. I think it looks okay. The only thing is, it's fairly. I think I paid £150 after postage and packaging, and the only thing I've seen a few people say is that there's a little bit of coil whine from the pump. I don't know how bad that is. I saw a video about Gamers Nexus, and he said that the EK and the Galahad from Lee and the Arctic Freeze, I said those three are kind of a little bit above the competition right now as far as performance goes. But he did note the pump noise, the whine coil. Now, apparently, if you just kind of dial down the settings a little bit, that noise goes away. I don't know if that's the case, and it's one of those things you need to just try it for yourself to see if it is an issue. Oni's saying, well, I just bought my PC a couple of months ago and I was going to go for an RTX 2060, but when the RTX 30 started rolling out, it was out of stock, so I was looking for a GPU as good or better than a 2060. So I've basically been holding my money for months now. Oh, that sucks. Do you have any graphics card in there at all right now? Anything? Or So just as an example, I've actually just noticed there was this other website. So I've not actually talked about this one yet. Stock Radar. I'll get the invite. This, in fact, is there an invite? Oh, this is better. Maybe okay, it's not allowing me to actually create a link for this one. But anyway, this one I found online. They've just popped up with 2 updates here for the Zotac. This is the Zotac Trinity card. The 3090 is one that keeps coming up on Amazon UK. We've got another update here as well, a 3090, which is, again, it's the same one. So this has just popped up. If I get it over here, this has just popped up on a few different websites, and this is the one that keeps coming up on stock, on Scan, and on Amazon. It's, again, it's the price, man. That price is crazy. So as far as what card I'm going to get, I've kind of touched upon this. I'm looking for a 3080 or a 3090, and 3090s are easier to get. 3080s are like unicorns at this point. They're in stock for about half a second before the bots get it. Now, I ideally like a 3080. If I can't get a 3080, I might opt for a 3090, and I'll sell it by myself by possibly doing some crypto mining to make up the difference. The higher resale value and added performance in that over time means that, in theory, I can hold the card a little bit longer before upgrading. But it's a splurge. I'm paying a lot more. I'm paying a high premium. Fileman 3080 Ti scheduled to be released this month, January 2021. We expect availability to actually buy November 2021. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. That's the problem with all of this, is that you read these reviews, and even review websites are finding it hard to get cards, but you read these announcements and they're saying the card will be 500, and then you can only see it being sold for $1,000. Do you know what I mean? You can't find it anywhere, and it pushes the prices up. And it doesn't help that people can't get PlayStation 5s or Xboxes right now either. It seems like RTX 3060 Ti is the way to go, but I'm quite hesitant it will bottleneck with my Ryzen 5 2600 CPU. Well, this is the difficult thing. There's always going to be a bottleneck somewhere as you move up. Very rarely you're going to play a game. Well, certainly at the kind of 3060 Ti end. If you got a 3060 Ti, it's a great solution for 1080p gaming. When you move up to 1440p, you could do that, lower resolutions, etc. As far as the bottleneck goes, I don't know where my voices went. Excuse me. As far as the bottleneck goes, yes, in some games. And it's difficult for people to really get an understanding of it sometimes, as far as what has happened to my voice. It's difficult to understand sometimes because you see a lot of reviews and they'll say, yes, this CPU is good enough, or no, this CPU is not good enough. It really does depend on what games you're playing, etc. For example, I've been playing Warzone and Call of Duty mostly, and it's very CPU heavy for a game. Even for a modern game, it's very CPU heavy, especially Warzone. And that, to me, is probably one of the biggest bottlenecks that I've got, which will be removed when I upgrade to the chip that's been sitting there for a month. So your chip here, 6 cores, 12 threads. I don't think you'd have to worry about it too much. I think that seems like a good match for the 3060 Ti. Don't let me know what you think. I think that seems to be a good match to me. I keep getting notifications for that Zotac things coming back in stock. It's difficult to find this out, Oni, and because you're looking for someone that's got the Ryzen 5 2600 and you're looking for someone that's got the 3060 Ti, and you ideally want them to say, well, I'd play these games, what's it like? But this is where blanket statements don't actually work that well. You know, I've seen a lot of reviews and, you know, they'll say it's good for this game, it's good for that game. My 1080 Ti is quite long in the tooth, but what I did was I was gaming in 1440p, but for Black Ops and Modern Warfare, that was okay. But for Warzone, because it's so high, I dropped down to 1080p because to me, yes, I want 1440p gaming, but I'd rather have a faster frame rate for a game like that. It's not, you know, it's not like something like Civilization where you want the visuals to be better. It's difficult because this I kind of touched upon this at the start of the video, right? And it's something which I think this is true for everyone right now, but this whole shortage, you know, of everything, especially graphics cards, but you know, there's a shortage of a lot of parts. It kind of takes a lot of the fun out of building a PC. It really does. Because normally what you would do is you would get all your different, you know, you would get a list or do what I do and use a website like PC Part Picker and you say, right, here's like, you know, here's the CPU I want. Okay. For that CPU, here's 30 different motherboards. Okay. For that, here's the memory, which is compatible. Here's the power supply. And you can say, well, I want this motherboard because it's got this and I need this and blah, blah, blah. I want this power supply because I want a little bit extra or I don't want to pay too much, whatever. And you can go through, and that's the beauty of building a custom PC, building your own PC. You're not limited to what a company gives you. And that's why whenever I look at buying a pre-made PC just to save time, I look at it and I think, that's a cheap part. That part sucks. Okay, that's good, but that's not. I'd have to replace that. And that's the beauty of building your own PC. But right now, you can't actually do that. When you go to buy the CPU, then you say, well, these motherboards are good, but I can only buy this one. These power supplies are good, I can only buy this one. And then the graphics card, you're like, I can't buy anything. So it does kind of, I'm not going to say take the magic out of it, but or the fun out of it, but it's definitely a lot more frustrating because normally what you would do is you check all the reviews and you say, right, that's the one that I'd like. And that's what I've been doing. I found, you know, the graphics card and I found the cooler, etc. that I wanted. None of them are in stock. So you need to start, you know, making sacrifices, thinking, okay, well, that will do, and then just kind of work around it. Something we're all kind of facing though. So first world problems here, of course. But I would like things to get back to normal a little bit. I don't mind some cards being a little bit out of stock, you know, or unavailable, etc. But when the whole market is like this, it's really frustrating. I am a self-promoter. Can you please check my latest video and it may help you? Please check. You're not doing very well self-promoting. You're not even told us what you're promoting. So there is, yeah, so there's more. I'm getting more updates from that one about that Zotac. That seems quite good, this website, that stock radar. It does actually, it seems to be popping up quite a lot now with updates, but it's that Zotac, which is everywhere. I just don't want to spend that amount of money on a brand like that. I don't know if you would agree with this, guys, right? Because if you look on Discords, if you look at discussions online, you've got a lot of people when they put EVGA and Asus and MSI kind of at the top, and then underneath you've got Palette, Zotac, PNY, all these other brands, and they're kind of marketed as lower end brands. But I don't know if a lot of this is. I don't know if a lot of this is actually justified, and I don't know, you know, what's justified and what isn't. I'll give you an example. Like I bought a lot of Asus cards, and I've got an Asus Strix 1080 Ti overclock edition in this PC, and it was like paid between £750 and £1,000. I bought a few at the time, and I've been very happy with it. Never had any problems with it. But I've got no idea if Asus are a good company. I've never had to do a return with them. And that's really when you find out how good a company is. When you do the RMA process, when you have to send something away and get it back, you're waiting for hours, you're waiting, you know, on a phone call, you're waiting days on replies for emails. This is really, you know, what you have to think about as well when you're buying these things. And sometimes it is worth paying a little bit more, especially if you're dropping $1,000 or two on a 3090. You don't want to drop $2,000 on a card and then it breaks and then, you know, you can't get a return. I just saw there's an alert here for a 3070. Let's see if this pops up. So Right, so let's talk about the 3070, right? Okay, I've actually found a graphics card, guys. This stream is called Finding a GPU, and I have found a GPU, right? So I'll post this up just in case there's anyone watching. Let me see, where's this go from? From here, right? I'll post this up here, right? Just in case anyone wants to see it, if anyone wants to grab it. This is a Gigabyte GeForce 3070 gaming 8 gigabytes for £649. It seems to be in stock in the UK on CCL online. Now, the problem I've kind of got with this card, and the 3070 cards in general, is that it's more of a sidestep for me for the 1080 Ti. It is a little bit better, but it's not night and day like the 3080 and 3090 are. But the problem with me is that a lot of the 3070 cards are very close to the lower end of the 3080 cards. There's not that big a jump as you see from the 3080 to the 3090. And personally, if you're paying £650 for a 3070, I'd rather spend an extra 100 and get a lower end 3080 card. And I know lower end cards, sometimes the cooler isn't good, sometimes the thermals aren't good. But this is the kind of weird thing that what's going on, where this artificial market, the lines start to become a little bit blurred, where you've got all the retail points that Nvidia or AMD have set out, but because there's no stock, you're seeing certain cards being worth more, being sold for more. But at the higher end of one card, you're kind of at the point where you should maybe try and get a lower end of another card. The reason that will sell, though, is because there's no 3080s and someone just wants a card and they just want to go on with their life. I'm sure it's a good card as well, but at that price, there's a good argument for just trying to find an old 2080 Ti instead. I don't know if you can find it the right. It's all price dependent. I'm just trying to see if there's any other updates. I don't think there is. So what I want to show you is Currys, because I do think if you're in the UK, this appears to be the best place to buy a graphics card right now, at least if you're trying to get it at a good price. So to me, Currys is the best place to get a graphics card right now, but it's very difficult to get a card there. What I'm finding over the last few days, or the last week, in fact, of just kind of monitoring this, is that when they get stock, it's sold very quickly. And by quickly, very quickly, I mean almost instantaneous. And this is the problem I've got with Currys, is they're not ripping anyone off like Novatech, for example, and adding a few £100 to each card. They're selling at recommended retail price, but they're not doing anything to stop bots buying up their products. Most of the stuff that's getting sold on Currys, I suspect, is through bots, because there's no spam protection, there's no anti-bot protection, there's nothing like that there. So the stock's there, and it's there for a very short period of time, and then it's gone. Now, I'm finding that here in the UK, about 4 in the morning, they're dropping cards around the 4 a.m. mark, because I've been up online at that time, and I've seen it at 4 a.m. in the morning. They drop stock, a very, very limited amount of stock. Last night, for example, for about 30 minutes, this card was here, this Gigabyte 3090 OC. Now, to me, this is arguably the best looking 3090 card out there. It's not as big as all the other cards. It's got a nice white design, which goes with my case, etc. By £1,800, it's a very big ask to go for that one. Certainly when there is a 3080 edition of this, which is only 800, which should be... okay, it's in the next page. So there's a 3080 version of this there, which isn't in stock, but it's £800. £1,000 more. £1,000 more for 10%, 15% more performance-wise. It's difficult, but this is the situation a lot of people are in, and it's why people are buying that. I know a lot of these GPUs have been, kind of bought by miners, etc. as well, but yeah, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. But yeah, that's why I didn't want to pull the trigger with that. I think if I was going for a 3090, I'd be looking at the lower end, because I mean, this is the other thing about graphics cards right now, is that there's not really a big difference between all of the cards per se. When you're moving up the other cards, if they've got the OC edition, it just means that the base clock has been preemptively increased, which you can do yourself on MSI Afterburner. Generally, though, the components are a little bit better. Whenever a manufacturer does their testing, the better chips will go into their higher range. For Asus, for example, when they do their testing, I think they call it when they're binning. The better chips go into Strix, and then the other ones are going to the tough range. But the difference in performance between those chips is not, is not worth it really, unless you're really wanting the best of the best. I saw some people talking about it and saying that you can go from 1400 for the 3090 tough edition to the 1800, 1900 for the Strix edition, or 1700 to 1900, 300, 400 pounds more. Let's say that, but performance wise, what are you going to get? 5% more. It's a lot of money to drop in just a little bit more performance. And that kind of sums up the whole GPU market, is that right now we're in this situation where between the different cards, you're paying a lot more money for just a little bit more. Now, sometimes that's worth it, I think, for better thermals, for better acoustics, etc. But a lot of time it's not. But it's a funny situation we're in right now, guys. Yeah, it's very annoying. So, as far as buying a GPU then goes, I think the only thing you can really do, if you want a GPU in 2021, I think the only thing you can do is just keep following these stock alert websites and keep emailing companies and just ask them for information about when stock will be back in. Ideally, you'd want to buy something on pre-order as well. But even companies that are selling graphics cards on pre-orders are sometimes bumping the price up a little bit. So, which way do you go? I don't know, guys. What do you think? Let me know what you think. It's difficult to know what's going to happen in the next few months as well. And that's the other kind of big unknown right now. I've been reading a lot of articles about it, and you'll see a lot of articles saying that stock is going to get back to normal. We're expecting a lot of stock. We're expecting things to go back to normal. But I don't know. This is the thing. It could be 3 to 6 months later until things get back to normal. And you might be kicking yourself for not just picking up a 3090 or 3070 or 3060 Ti right now. There's a lot of uncertainty here. I'm going to go back to this website. So I want to show you this website again. This is a really good website, and if you're trying to find out the latest information about graphics cards, again, this isn't really going to tell you everything about stock, but it will help you see what's going on. Now, you can see here AMD Radeon RX 6700 series is being rumored. I don't know if this is going to be tackling the 3060 Ti. Maybe that's the kind of range it's going to be tackling. I suspect so. But it's good that Radeon are going to be bringing out new cards as well. So what's it got here? 40 compute units, 12 gigabytes of GDDR6, 190-bit memory bus. So this is another card which could be good. And if you could get it or at launch, it could be a really good card to pay attention to. But again, it's down to stock levels. Can you actually get this card? And here's an example of why we're not getting cards right now. This is someone's 3080 mining rig, and that looks like, is that MSI? Is that an MSI card, or is it a PNY one? I've seen it. There's like an MSI card and a PNY card, which have got the kind of 3 colourful fans. Maybe it could be either of them. Can anyone tell which brand that is? Can you zoom in? It's on his Facebook account. Okay. Not now. Yeah, there it's there. That's a hell of a rig. This guy is not helping your situation, but yeah, that's a hell of a rig. I need to say that's impressive. Ryzen 5980HX. Wow. Nvidia RTX 3080 Max Q, so that'll be on laptops. So I got another notification there somewhere. 3090 EU, right? So I'm going to jump over here and see what we get. So there's a few updates now. Amazon, they're all Amazon. So the reason this has come up a lot of times is basically because it's automated. This is automated. It's not manually approved. It's all through bots. And when I click on it, it's going to show me the Amazon Zotac page, which is here. And already it looks like it's, oh, there it's there, sold by Amazon, add to basket. I really don't think that card's worth it though, at all. Zotac 3090. I don't know. This seems to be in stock a lot though. This is the one that I saw. It was on in stock and scan for like 3 or 4 days. It's constantly in stock in Amazon. But in a year's time, someone will be selling this for like £600, 700 or something. It's good to see. It's good to see that we're getting more stock available though. Yeah, I've got another update. I'm getting double updates now because Stock Informer is giving me the same updates. So I'll tie it up now, guys. I'll tie it up a little bit earlier today. Discussion is a little bit quiet right now, so I'll tie it up. So moving forward, I am going to be doing some more videos about computing parts. I'm going to be talking about building my new PC and showing you what I'm doing. I still want to do some videos about phones as well. I have been using my Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro, if I can get it there, Mi 10T Pro. This is a phone I will be talking about soon. I want to tell you, I'll try and do a video at the end of the week just telling you how I've been finding it. And I've got some other things that I need to test as well. So this is my RX 100 Mark 7. All right, carry boy. This is my RX 100, Sony RX 100 Mark 7. I've not talked about this. I've not talked about this Rode Video Mic NTG. So I really should do a video about that at one point. And yesterday I also got this in, which I'm sure you're aware of. This is the Rode Wireless Go and the lavalier mic. So this is all part of me trying to improve my audio, but that's kind of more related to the camera, really, just giving me different options. What I really need to do is get a different mic for here so that I don't have to rely on this microphone. But that microphone, the one I want, is for 500 or so. So I've been trying, because I'm spending so much money building a PC and I bought a new phone and all that, and I bought this microphone. I'm like, right, I'll hold back for a few weeks. I'll hold back for a few weeks until I can get some cash together. Dropping another £500 on a microphone, you know, it's a lot of money. But this Sennheiser mic, which I've got just out of shot, it's here. This Sennheiser, I'll still get money for it. I'll be able to sell it on eBay and get some money back, so maybe not too bad. Yeah, so I'm still getting updates for all these, that Zotac. Every 2 seconds now, it seems to be a lot. How's things, Carrie? Yeah, that's the card there. Right, guys, so fairly quiet now, so I'll tie things up. Moving forward, over the next week or two, I'll be doing videos about my phone, about the camera, if I get time for that as well. And I'm going to be showing you me building up my PC. So whenever I do something to my PC, I will do a video about it. So the first one will probably be about the motherboard and CPU, just opening it up and just having a quick look at it. I'll have a quick look at the power supply in another video. And then I need to get this case open, and then I can start putting the motherboard onto the case and start building it up. I've got an SSD coming. I've got an all-in-one cooler coming. I don't have memory at this point, but memory is something which I'm willing to hold back on because I've got 64 gigabytes in this PC, and I can just take all of that out, or 32 gigabytes out, and put it into the new PC. But that is something I'm going to get. You'll go from 3200 megahertz up to maybe 3600 or 4000. Stephen, I had a Zotac 1070 for a few years and it was okay. It's good to hear that. See, I like hearing when other like lower end brands, and they're good. The problem I have with this Zotac card, I guess, is that for that kind of money, you know, you're talking 1700. I would want a 3090 Asus Strix OC, for example. I would want to get one of the the brand name GPUs. Not being a snob, I'm just thinking more of down the line as well from a resale point of view as well. You know, I had the Palette 1060 cards a few years ago, and they were great. And that's not a brand that's kind of known. That's not a brand that's really known as much as Gigabyte and Asus and all that. But those were great. So I'm not opposed to going with one of those brands. The problem that I've got just now is that those brands are not selling at the price that I would like. So they only do Nvidia cards. I'll have a look at this before I go. I just want to see what this is like. So this is the card. This is the 3090, which keeps coming up in stock, right? This one keeps coming up in stock constantly on Amazon and sometimes Scan. And for whatever reason, it's taking a while to load. Load up. Here we go. After a flyer with the website not loading. So this card seems to be in stock a lot. And specs wise, what are we talking here? Boost 1695, 3 display ports, 1 HDMI 2.1. What you'll see with a lot of the other 3090s is they've actually got 3 display port and 3 HDMI, but you're only allowed to use 4. So this one's kind of went down the display port route. 750 watts, 2 times 8 pin. So if you're buying a 3090 or even a 3080, this is another thing to look at. If you're looking to do a lot of overclocking, you might want to gravitate towards one that has 3 8-pin connectors, because it means that you can go way over 350 watts. I've seen some people doing like 400 watts, 450 watts and all that, but you probably need the extra pin for that. It does look, I'm sure this is a fantastic card. It's just at that price, I would rather go with some other brands. I don't know. We're not really in the market right now to be picky, are we? Tell me now. Tell you what, Michael. Tell you what now. Tell you what. I'm getting so many updates right now in Discord about things coming up. Hey, Hugh. Be really careful on buying. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that. Right, so Hugh's saying, sorry about that, someone messaged me there. Hugh was saying, be really careful about buying things from the EU. I had to cancel so many orders because EU businesses are refusing to pay the VAT on the point of sale to the UK government. Whether it's them refusing or not knowing they have to sign up for the new HMRC's tax change. Right, so this is something which obviously I talked about. In a video on New Year's Day, kind of a downer of a video, kind of a negative video to do, but it was something I wanted to talk about because I do think this is something that's going to be an issue moving forward. Now, I saw a few people saying, don't worry, things will be fine in a few months' time. For the most part, I think, generally speaking, life will be like it was. We'll still be able to buy computers, we still will be able to buy games consoles and different things, but we're going to see things like problems arise like what Hugh is going through right now. And there was a big news story on the BBC, a very similar issue about this. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of January. See if I can find this. Let me see, EU. See if I can find this news story. Right, so I found the news story. So I was reading about this the other day, and I know it's not probably what you're dealing with, but this is an example of what's going on, and it's an example of what could go on moving forward. So here is the news. So it's 1 day ago actually. So EU firms refuse UK deliveries over Brexit tax changes. So the initial, I don't know if this is the same. Yeah. So here's a story. Bicycle part from Dutch Bike Bits says from now on it would ship to every country in the world except the UK. We are forced by the British policy to stop dealing with British customers. They're angry because they now face higher costs and increased bureaucracy in order to comply with the UK tax authorities. So we're seeing a lot of this happening where companies are getting all these different hurdles to jump through. They've got all these problems that need to hurdles to jump through. That doesn't sound hurdles to jump over, or loops to jump through. It's one of those days. But we're seeing a lot of these EU companies now, and for the last how many years, 50 years, they have been able to ship to the UK and they just send it. Someone buys something, they send it. But now they've got all these additional tax issues. They've to register for all these different firms. It's easier for them to sell to China or America or whatever than it is to the UK at the moment. And I don't know if this is something that's going to be kind of ironed out over the next few months. Maybe a lot of these companies are just kind of reacting to this right now. And they're reacting to the fact that they've got, all of this is new. I imagine the government isn't really being upfront about what they need to do as yet. I checked all of the websites and there's not a lot of information about what's going on as far as warranties, as far as rules, as far as tax. It's not as clear as it should be. And if it's not as clear, if all this isn't clear to me, someone who speaks English, reads English, lives in the UK, what do you think it's like for someone in Holland or France or Italy or whatever? So I'm sorry to see that. I mean, I do buy, I'm not going to say a lot of, maybe 10% of the stuff I buy for my YouTube stuff is maybe coming from Europe, sometimes 20%, just because certain parts are cheaper in Europe, and that might have to stop now. I was looking at Germany for this new microphone. That's where I was probably going to buy it, and I don't know. There's not much we can really do though. This is the problem. This is the frustrating aspect about all of this, is that we're kind of sitting with our hands tied. Hold on now. So here's an example, right? Maybe not the best example, but so I just got another announcement from one of those Discord websites, another notification, right? So it's for the same Zotac gaming GPU, right? But this one is from Amazon Germany and it's 1,679. Now, obviously, euros to pounds, that will be a little bit cheaper. So let's work this out. Anyone do a currency conversion for me? So what are we talking? £1,518. So right away, if you could buy from Amazon Germany, you would save a little bit of money. You would get it for £1,518. Maybe with delivery, £1,530, £1,540. But they will add on a tax on top of this now when you order this. But the biggest question mark now is kind of what Hugh is going through. What's going to happen? I suspect maybe with Amazon, they'll handle all that kind of annoying side of it and they'll ship. But what happens down the line if you return it? Is there going to be a delay with the return? I don't know. I've actually, saying that I order a lot of stuff from Europe, I've actually ordered my SSD from Amazon France because it was £50 cheaper. So instead of 400, I paid about 350, I think, or 360. I saved a little bit of money anyway. Yeah, there definitely needs to be more information about what's going on, pricing and customs and tax. I mean, Amazon, in my experience, Amazon are very good with returns in a kind of short period of time. They're good for returns. If you buy something and then 3 months down the line it stops working, you can return it. It's when you kind of go past that 12-month area, Amazon just don't want to know and they don't help you. And normally that isn't an issue before because, you talk to someone who can't speak English and they're using translation services to talk to you, but they just say send it back. So you send it back and they'll punt it broken on Amazon Warehouse or whatever they do. But beyond that, it's difficult to get help. And that's the question mark right now. Normally you would go to the manufacturer and you would RMA it under warranty. But what happens now moving forward in Europe? I still don't know. What is it you bought, Hugh, if you don't mind me asking? They charge you £42 extra custom charge for a €190 item. Was it on Amazon you bought it? It's Carrie, you still watching? I just remembered that you asked about the phone. An eye tracker. We'll see if I can find that model. Eye tracking for PC games. So this in-game experiences, player performance, content, and streaming. Oh, that's quite interesting. So it shows you what you've been watching in the game. That's interesting. I like the idea of that. I'll need to look more into it though to see how it actually works. So I'll need to see a stream to see how does that work in practice? Does it move the game when you do that? It was from Sweden, right? Yeah, I need to learn more about that. I'm not sure I know a lot about it. Right, okay, if you move your head it kind of works like tracker, right. How much were you saving? Like, how much is it in the UK? Without needing the clip on your headset. So is it when you're streaming, Hugh, this is what it does? It's a bit I'll need to watch this later to get a better understanding of how this works. Analyze your gameplay through your eyes. I do like the idea of this. I don't think I've got a full understanding as to what it's actually doing yet, if I'm honest. I'm like, I want one of these and I don't even know why yet. I just like the idea of, having a more enhanced gaming experience for you and others. Right, so you've basically lost the benefit of buying abroad as far as price goes. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. I mean, this is something I'm going to see a lot, I think. And this is the problem. This is the problem we're going to have moving forward as well, is that you can start the whole. I don't want to go into a whole Brexit debate, but one of the good things before was, as a consumer, British companies also had to compete with pricing across Europe. Certainly for computing items and things that you don't mind waiting a couple of days for, hard drives and different things. A British company really couldn't pay, just charge customers ridiculous prices because they knew that customers could go elsewhere and order from Amazon France or Germany or Sweden, whatever. But now, because of the extra tax and all the hurdles and all the bureaucracy, as they pointed out, maybe a lot of people will just start, I don't know, maybe they can start charging whatever they want now within the UK and start artificially rising prices of some products. I don't know. I'd like to hope that doesn't happen. It's just, I know that they said it's a zero tax tariff and all this, but the reaction to it so far from European companies has not been positive. So we're not really getting a positive response so far from this, but maybe over the next few months that will go down. Oh, I missed this update. So there was actually another update here. It said it was £560. So this is maybe a better example. I got an update there for this. This was a 3070, but it was retailing at £560. Now the price isn't there. This is a lower end 3070 card, which you can tell by the fact it's only 2 fans, which is actually desirable if you're doing an ITX build. But this was only £560. I think at that lower end of the 3070 market, it's more appealing than when you're paying $700 and you're basically paying the price of a 3080. I don't think it was a custom charge. It was totally being lazy and not declaring the tax on the goods, and they wanted me to pay the VAT of 20 again. Right. So it's them not basically knowing what's happening with Brexit and just shipping it anyway. I've had that before as well with companies. I had it with you know, I've had it in the past where a company sent something and it broke or it wasn't working. They say, don't worry, we'll send you something else. And they send it again, it gets held in customs. And then I'm like, I'm not paying $50 or £50 customs or £20 custom. This has to be paid by the company. And then they just don't reply because it's too much hassle for them. And Indy to join EFTA. What's EFTA? Am I being stupid here? What's that? EFTA? Oh, European Free Trade Agreement. Ah, right, okay. Independence too for Scotland. I don't know how that would work. I mean, if Scotland was independent, would they? I'd like to think they'd get in the EU. Like I'm someone that's always been strong. You know, I've always felt European. I know it sounds stupid, but I've spent much more time in Europe than I have elsewhere. European Free Trade Association. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a political mess for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You know, this kind of thing, I don't know. I don't know where things are going to go. Well, I think a lot of people in Scotland, Hugh, I think a lot of people in Scotland have been felt a little bit betrayed, because if you go back and look at all the videos, all the news announcements and all the media blasting from England and from David Cameron all that time, they kept saying, you will if you leave us, you'll leave the EU. Stay with us and you'll stay in the EU. And then it was like a year or two later, the whole Brexit thing started. I mean, I don't like to be too political on my channel, guys, because I know it can divide opinion, and some people are very passionate about this. I feel Scottish. I've never felt British per se. Maybe that's wrong, but I've never felt British. But I love England, and I like English people. It's not like, you know, I'd actually prefer England to be independent and be an independent country. But as far as the whole Scottish independence thing, I think if, you know, I would like Scotland to be independent, but not because of any kind of Scottish nationality thing. If the UK was truly united and it was a fairer society and it wasn't all centralised in London, then I wouldn't want the UK to break up. I really wouldn't. And you know, I would like a true United Kingdom, but I don't think that's actually what's going to happen. And I always think Westminster's corrupt. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to all of that thing. That's the thing. I try not to delve deep in all that. My wife's English. Her family's she's obviously from England. But yeah, I've got friends that live in England, a lot of friends that live down England. I like it when I visit it. I think the media the media always do the whole divide and conquer thing, and they try and make it think that people from Scotland are different from people from Wales or Northern Ireland or England. I'd say that most people just want the same thing. They want a fair society. They want they want to live in a safe area free from crime. They want their kids to do well. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But the reason I would vote for an independent Scotland is mainly down to Westminster being corrupt. That's the way that I see it. If there was a fairer society, I wouldn't vote for it. I think we're past the point of it not being. I think we're past the point of it ever being a fair society with the way things are. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I try not to get, you know. I'll like again. I don't want to talk about these issues too much because I'd like to stay on topic. But what I will say, there's a few topics. There was a few things that kind of stuck with me during the whole Scottish independence thing, right? And there was a few different comments, and there's two I want to talk about, right? Now, obviously, you had the whole, you know, you had all the Scottish nationalists and all that saying, "Oh, it's about our oil," and certainly Westminster screwed Scotland out of oil, the way it all worked and moving the boundary and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of kind of misreporting as well, whereas, money taken out of Scotland because the company's registered in London, that gets reported as England making the profit. There's different things like that which are unfair. I love Scotland as well. As someone who lives in Northern England, I totally understand anger towards Westminster. Well, this is an interesting point, Hugh. I think Northern England has more right to be angry at Westminster than Scotland do, as far as people up in the north of England have been forgotten about. And we saw that with Brexit and the pandemic, with Liverpool and different places just kind of getting forgotten about. But I want to give you a few comments that I heard during the independence that kind of shaped my opinion a little bit. One comes from Billy Connolly, which I'm sure you're all aware of. And when you start, it's easy to maybe some people may get, I don't know, maybe they fall deep into the whole independence thing and the nationalist thing, whether you're English or Scottish or American, whatever. But I remember Billy Connolly saying when he said about an independent Scotland, and he said, well, I don't know if it's for me or not. He said, it's not for me to decide. I'm quite old now. But he said, to me, I've got more in common with a welder. He was a welder, obviously. He says, I've got more in common with a welder from Liverpool or Newcastle than I do with a lord from Aberdeen. And I would agree with that. If you to put me in a room with a regular working class guy, I'm more likely to get on with him if he's from, if we're in the same level, the same upbringing. I'll have more in common with him. Someone from Liverpool, Newcastle, Birmingham, doesn't matter. I'll probably have very similar views to that person as opposed to someone rich who owns acres of land in North Scotland. But I remember another thing that stuck in my head was a friend of mine, and he talked about a United Kingdom, and he said that, well, if you want a United Kingdom, why don't we make it united? Because you see in different countries like South Africa where, they've got three capitals, and one's the capital of commerce, one's the capital of finance, one's a capital for the they've got different regions. This happens in Germany as well, where they've got different centres for finance, for the military, for whatever, and they all work together. But in the UK, that's not how it works. He said if it was a truly United Kingdom, I know they've moved the BBC up, but if it was a truly United Kingdom, they says, well, why can't you have the, Belfast being the head of one area, Birmingham being the head of one area, blah, blah, blah. But the way it works now is everything is in London. Every single aspect of the country is controlled from London. And it was a very good point, something that I didn't see discussed enough. And I think that matters. We went political. Now, I'm kind of of the opinion that most people that you meet, wherever you are in the UK, are good people. And we all want the same thing. And we just want to live a good life and be safe, and we want the best for each other. And I certainly wouldn't want an independent Scotland if it meant that people in another part of the UK were truly affected or left behind, etc. I do want a true fair society, but I don't know if we can ever get that with Westminster. I try not to get involved in politics though, because I just hate all politicians, if I'm honest. They're all liars. So I just try not to get involved. But it's interesting. It's interesting hearing all the different discussions about it, all the different debates about it. But I think when you get older as well, you become a little bit more kind of placid about it all. Sorry, Richard. Richard's trying to share a comment, but for whatever reason, there's a bug with YouTube just now. But yeah, this is a way. I actually mentioned this in my video. I think in the video I did the other day, Richard. The video about the Brexit and prices going up. This was one of the websites that I mentioned. It's really good. This is the website that I found the SSD that I ordered. I found it through Haggles, and yeah, I use this all the time. I used to use another one actually. I used to use another one called, was it Courier or something like that? It was some kind of weird name. But I used to use that for Amazon comparison, but I've been using Haggles, and you just get through and you can compare the prices between all the different markets. Really good. Especially, I've probably bought about 5 or 6 different hard drives, SSDs, etc. from Amazon, websites across Europe. Very, very useful. I'm still getting. That's another one. Oh, there. So here's another one, guys. 5 left. I'm going to post this here for anyone that wants it. So this is another one. It's popped up. It's showing you and this is encouraging actually. I've seen a lot of stock pop up. This is the one, 3070 Gaming X Trio 625. This is a better 3070. Good card. 5 in stock from Amazon. I don't know if that's retail. It seems to be closer to retail than anything else I've seen. Sold from the MSI store. That's good. It's good to see. So I've definitely noticed a lot more stock being available over the last few days, right? Now, my hope is that is a sign to come. That is a sign. I mean, look at that. Go to the store. Like, there's nothing available. That's terrible to see. But my hope is that, you know, the last day or two, I've seen a lot of stock coming in. My hope is that this is the post-Christmas Brexit pandemic crap out the way, and we're going to start seeing stock coming in. But I don't know, that this could just be a pocket of a week or two where we see some stock and then it disappears, and then we're back into the situation where we can't find a graphics card. I don't know, but I've shared that anyway for guys. If you want to check that out, if you did need a 3070, that looks like a decent model. It's one of the models you see. It's got a 3080. There's a 3090 variant of it as well. It's a bit of a sidestep for me as a 1080. From a 1080 Ti, it's certainly not the upgrade that I need right now. I'm sure it's a better card. I'm just saying I'm looking for more of an upgrade. But it's good to see that these cards are coming in stock. That's good. It's good to see. In fact, I've got another notification. I'm getting more notifications now. See that stock alert? I'm going to have to try and find an invite for you for that one. Stock alert beta or beta. I can't seem to find a proper invite for that channel. It seems to be disabled for me. But that one there, stock alert, search for Stock Raider beta or beta. You'll find an invite code somewhere online if you search for that. This here. Search for that. That seems to be as good as Stock Informer as far as getting stock updates. Seems to be anyway. Seems to be. Right, guys, I'm going to tie it up there. It was a little bit quieter today. I think maybe graphics cards aren't what everyone's interested in. Let me know what you think, guys. When I do live streams like this, I don't want to always kind of do wash, rinse, repeat when it comes to what I discuss on live streams. And I realize a lot of people watch my channel just for smartphones or just for whatever. But I'm quite interested in the computing side of things as well, so I would like to talk about more computing stuff in the future as well. So let me know if you're happy for me to delve deep into these other topics from time to time, if it's good. I know a few of you are. I know some guys only like the phone stuff, but Hugh, I haven't received my 3090 back from EVGA. Getting a bit worried they put on hold due to all these tax issues. Is that a few months then, Hugh? Thanks, Richard. But if there's anything you want, if there's anything you want me to talk about, please do let me know. The biggest problem I've got just now is time, because I've bought a lot of stuff recently. If I'm honest, I've got honestly, like, even just here, like, that's well over $1,000. Just stuff sitting here that I've not done a review on, and then CPU graphics card case is another $1,000, and then I'm talking about doing the graphics card as well. Weeks, yeah. Hopefully, you get it resolved. I know EVGA have got a good reputation for returns, etc. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, give me some feedback on this. I know this is a little bit different to what I normally talk about. I normally talk about phones or different things. I mean, I generally prefer just the live stream to go in any direction it goes, because those are the most enjoyable. But this is something I wanted to talk about, because I think this is something that we're all kind of facing as far as trying to find a GPU. It's certainly something that I'm trying to resolve now. It's a bit frustrating with what's going on, but I don't think it's going to end anytime soon because of Bitcoin and various other factors. Right, guys, anything you want me to talk about before I tie it up? Can I just say, I've just remembered I've had my overhead camera on this whole time and I haven't actually used it at any point. So this is the mic. So this is the Video Mic NTG microphone. I actually used this in 2 videos when I was testing with it, and I'll just say right now, I had the setting wrong. I had basically what you should do with this is put the volume level of the mic here very low, like 1, 2, or 3, and then set this high because you don't want to boost the bad signal from this. But I didn't do that. I had it set at like 15 or something, and it was a bit of noise from it, which I kind of cleared up in post-production using DaVinci, but I think the audio from this will be a little bit better in the future from this mic. But I've got this wireless Go, which we'll use with this lavalier mic. And you know, this has been tested to death at this point, so I don't want to do a massive video about it. I can maybe do a video where I'm just sitting here talking about it and just, you know, just talking about it. I don't want to go out there and do loads of audio tests. This is the problem when you as a YouTuber, this is the problem when you pick up something that's been out for a year or two, is that you're not going to get any views if you do a detailed video about it. So, you know, I could do a video and just give you my thoughts on it. Lavalier mics in general are good as far as quality goes, but you need to be careful, like all this ruffling sound, which you don't get with this. Is that cryptocurrency channel still going? No, I kind of moved away from it. I've got it. I kind of rebranded it as Online Ventures because of a number of different reasons. One being the spam that I receive on that YouTube channel, because it covered cryptocurrency, is ridiculous, to the point where I can't even reply to comments because I get 5 legit comments and then 100 spam comments. It's honestly the most time-consuming thing ever to even maintain. I'd have to go down a route of only paid members can comment or something. The other thing being YouTube had this strange thing where they were cracking down on cryptocurrency channels and just banning people if they talked about any particular subject which they deemed to be either spammy or political or whatever. And I didn't want to devote all my time to a channel where it was at risk. I don't know what to do with it though, because I don't want the channel to die, which effectively it is dying right now. But I guess I could do something really. I guess I could change things up completely and focus this channel more on the smartphone side and different things, then do more computing on the other channel. But I think it'd be a waste of my time to split my channels up that way. I don't know. YouTube's a pain in the arse sometimes with things like that, as far as how you juggle your topics and different things. But yeah, Bitcoin's at, you know, like 35 grand or something now. It's mental. Absolutely mental. So I'll just show you here. There's a few more updates here. Again, this is in Europe. That's Zotac. There was also the Gigabyte Gaming OC card for $1849. Going back to going back to the issue with what Hugh was saying, I'd prefer to buy in the UK, even if it means paying an extra 50 or 100. Previously in the past, I would probably take the risk to save some money, but right now, I'd kind of lean towards going with the UK because of what's going on with Europe. Oh, no problem. Yeah. Cheers, Stephen. No need to apologize. I'm not someone that likes to get too heated into politics with people, and I've got people I follow on Twitter from America that are very strongly Trump, but I met them at conferences and the nicest people ever, and I completely disagree with a lot of their politics, but it is what it is. I think there has to be more meeting in the middle right now. We're in a very divided culture, a very divided time, where it's a very us and them kind of thing, and everyone wants to assign themselves to a tribe. Where really, if someone's got different political views from you, you should be able to still talk to them and be normal with them, in theory. But yeah, I just don't like talking about it because it does divide opinion, and it, rubs people the wrong way as well. Even saying, saying I like one thing or another in politics, so maybe some people don't like. I don't know. I just try and avoid it. I don't want to go down that route best as I can. Right, guys. It's been an enjoyable stream. Let me know if you watch this later. Let me know if you do like me talking about computing related topics. I know a lot of people prefer the smartphone stuff, but it's good to talk about some different things sometimes. But hope everything goes okay, Hugh. Find people want the same thing, but they can't agree how to get there. You summed it up great, Hugh. Yeah, I would agree with that. And you find a lot of people when you think they've got opposing opinions and stuff, most of the time they don't really. They're just kind of radicalized almost within their own groups. And I think a lot of people get very extreme opinions about very simple things. And they need to, you need to come and go a little bit. But it's the time we live in. This wisdom comes with age. See, good old man beard. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a blast. I'll be doing more computing related videos as I build my PC. I'm going to get it sorted soon. I need to get storage in this room too because it's an absolute pigsty. But stay tuned. I will do some more videos about phones and cameras and stuff in the future as well. But I do need to work over the next few days. So I'll be juggling all that. But thanks for the continued support, guys. Hope everything's going okay. Best of luck, Hugh. Hope you get your 3090. Overclock that bad boy for me. I want to see how it performs. If only for it to convince me to buy one myself. But if you watch this video later and you need an invite to any of these, you don't see it in the live stream. If you missed a link or something and you need a link to one of these Discord groups, let me know. I can post a link in the comment area or something and you can join up. It's definitely the best way to get a graphics card right now. But thanks for holding back, guys. Thanks for chatting. It's been good. And speak to you very soon. Cheers, guys. I'm out of here.